Alright, so when's your quiz? Tomorrow. Your quiz is going to be on sections 3.1 and 3.2. So the quiz is going to look just like this. It's going to have these same types of questions, but maybe not as many as the review has. So just so we have time to go over at least one of everything, I'm going to do the odd problems in this class, and then I'll do the even problems in the other class. That way there'll be a video for both the even and odd if you guys have any questions. If we have time, I'll do the even ones too. But I just want to make sure we have time to get to everything, so I'm going to do the odd ones in this video. So what is our solution here? Remember, we need x is equal to and y is equal to. When it gives us the graph, how can we find our solution? Perfect. X is equal to 3 and y is equal to 4. So we're looking at this point here where they intersect. So x is 3 and y is 4. That's the answer. For these to solve by graphing, you just look at where the two lines intersect, and that's your answer. What if your two lines don't intersect? What would your answer be? No solution. If your lines don't intersect, then your answer is no solution. All right, let's look at number 3. We need to solve by substitution. So what can we do first here? What do we do first? So when solving by substitution, we need to get x or y all by itself. So we need to isolate the variable. And then once we have x is equal to something or y is equal to something, we take that something and plug it in for either x or y. So here we have x is equal to negative y minus 3. We're going to plug this in for x. So we have negative y plus 4 is equal to 8 times negative y minus 3. So we just take that whole thing that we have for x and substitute it in for x. So now we just solve for y. So what do we have to do first to solve for y here? Anybody? Distribute. So we need to distribute the 8 to everything in the parentheses behind it. So we have 8 times negative y, which would be negative 8y, and then 8 times negative 3, which would be negative 24. So negative y plus 4 is equal to negative 8y minus 24. What do we do next to solve? Combine like terms. So we can add y to both sides. So this is now 4 is equal to negative 7y minus 24, and then we add 24 to both sides. So 28 is equal to negative 7y. What's the last thing we need to do? Divide. So divide both sides by negative 7. What's 28 divided by negative 7? Negative 4. So we get y is equal to negative 4. Are we done? No, what do we need to do? Plug it in. So we can take this and plug it in for y. Doesn't matter if we plug it into the second one or the first one. Nope, we can plug it into either one. So I'm going to plug it into the first one. So I have x is equal to negative 4 minus 3. What happens to those two negatives? it turns it positive. So x is equal to 4 minus 3. What's 4 minus 3? What's 4 minus 3? 1. So x is equal to 1. So we need to have x is equal to and y is equal to. So in your quiz, you're going to type in the box, x is equal to this number, y is equal to this number. You need to have your two answers for both. All right, let's go to 5. Any questions on number 3? All right, let's go to number 5. What do we need to do first here? Isolate x. So we want to get x is equal to all by itself. So how do we move that minus 3y to the other side? Add 3y. So we're adding 3y to our first equation, so this becomes 12 plus 3y is equal to x. Now that we have x is equal to something, what can we do? Plug it in. So we need to take this and substitute it in for our x. So negative 3 plus 3y is equal to negative 4 times 12 plus 3y. What do we do first to solve? Distribute. So we have negative 3 plus 3y is equal to, we're distributing the negative 4 into the parentheses. So negative 4 times 12 would be negative 48. And negative 4 times 3y would be negative 12y. What do we do next? Combine like terms. So we can add 12y to both sides. So this is 15y. And then we can add 3. So it's negative 48 plus 3. Negative 45. Now we divide by 15. What's negative 45 divided by 15? What is it? Negative 3. So y is equal to negative 3. Are we done? No. We need to take this and plug it back into one of our equations. Can we plug it into the first one or the second one? Sure, let's plug it into the first. It doesn't matter as long as we're plugging it in for y. So here we have 12 is equal to x minus 3 times negative 3. What do we do first to solve for x here? Multiply. So 12 is equal to x. What's negative 3 times negative 3? 9. What do we do next to solve for x? Subtract 9. So what do we get for x? Perfect. X is equal to 3. Alright, let's go to the next page. Alright, let's take a look at number 4. Okay, so we're solving by substitution, so we need to get either x is equal to some number or y is equal to some number, or something. So here, x looks pretty isolated, nothing's happening to it, so let's get x is equal to. So how can we move everything else to the other side of the equation so we can get x is equal to? Anybody, help me out. We want to move all of this to the other side of the equation, so what do we need to do? Add y to both sides, so now we have y is equal to x minus 2. We could just solve for y. Now that we have y all by itself, we could just say y is equal to this. So we can go ahead and plug that in for y. Or we could move the negative 2 to the other side and have x is equal to y plus 2 and then plug that in. So it doesn't matter, but we can just use this for y. So we're going to take this, substitute it in for y. So we have 3x minus 24 is equal to negative 6 times x minus 2. What do we do first to solve? Distribute. 3x minus 24 is equal to, we need to distribute the negative 6 to the x and the negative 6 to the negative 2. So negative 6x plus 12. What do we do next? Combine like terms. So we can add 6 on both sides, add 6x. So we get 9x, and then add 24. So 9x is equal to, what's 12 plus 24? 12, positive 12, plus 24. They're both positive. 36. What do we do next? Divide by 9. So x is equal to? What's 36 divided by 9? 4. Are we done? Are we done? What do we do? Plug it into the equation. Are we going to plug it into the first or the second? Let's plug it into the first. It looks a little bit easier. So just make sure you plug it in for x. So we have 0 is equal to 4 minus y minus 2. What do we do? Add. So if it's on the same side of the equation, we just combine our like terms. So 4 minus 2 would be 2. So we have 0 is equal to 2 minus y. Now what do we do? Perfect. Add y to both sides, so y is equal to 2. That's our answer. So on the quiz, in the little text box, you would put x is equal to 4, y is equal to 2. Number 7. Now we're solving by elimination. So this is when we just combine our two equations together. So remember, we need a set of opposite terms. So if we have a positive 3y, we need a negative 3y. Do we have that here? Yes. So we can go ahead and add everything together. So 5x plus 2x would give us 7x. What happens to the 3y's? They cancel out. And then negative 12 minus 9 would be negative 21. What do we do next? Divide by 7. So what's x equal to? negative 3. Are we done? What do we do?
No.
Plug it in. Should we plug it into the first or the second?
Second.
Okay, let's plug it into the second. So we're plugging it into x. We got to be careful. So if you get x is equal to something, you have to plug that in for x. So we have 2 times negative 3 minus 3y is equal to negative 9. What do we do first? Multiply. So 2 times negative 3 would be negative 6. Minus 3y is equal to negative 9. What do we do next? Awesome. Add 6. Negative 3y is equal to, what's negative 9 plus 6?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. And what do we do next?
Divide.
Divide by negative 3. So what's y equal to?
1.
1. Perfect. So we get x is equal to and y is equal to. So on the quiz, make sure you type in x is equal to whatever number, and then y is equal to whatever number. You have to put which one is which.
X is negative 3 and y is 1.
Yep. I was just giving an example. This is how you need to type it into the box on the quiz.
You have to space them, right?
It doesn't matter. If you, it would probably mark it wrong anyways, because you could put spaces in between it. You don't have to put spaces, but I'm going to go through and grade it after anyways, so. Just as long as you have x is equal to some number and y is equal to some number. All right, let's go to number 9. What do we need to do first here to solve by elimination? So remember, we need a positive and a negative to cancel each other out. So let's focus on our y's. How can we make this first y a positive y? What can we multiply by it? Negative 1. So we're going to multiply everything in our first equation by negative 1. So our first equation is now negative 2x plus y is equal to, what's negative 4 times negative 1? Positive 4. Now that we have these opposite terms here, we can go ahead and combine. What's 2x minus 2x? Zero. What happens to our y's? They cancel. And then what is negative 3 plus 4? 1. Is 0 equal to 1? No. So what would be our answer here? No solution. So anytime you get 0 is equal to some number that's not 0, your answer is no solution. So here's when it's going to cancel out, and you're going to get 0 is equal to 1. So I would just do that one step just to see that it gives you no solution.
Okay.
And you have to show your work on the quiz, so this would be your work. All right, ready for the next one? Number 10. What do we need to do first here? what are we multiplying and to which equation? The first one or the second one? Awesome. We need to multiply the first equation by -2. That way we'll get the y's to cancel out. So x times -2 would be -2x. -2y times -2 would be -4y. And 6 times -2 would be -12. Can we combine our two equations now? Yep. So we're just going to add everything together. What is 7x minus 2x? 5x. What happens to our y's? Cancel. And then what is -28 plus -12? They're both negative, so we just add them. -40. What do we do next? Divide by 5. So x is equal to what? -8. What do we do next? Plug it in. What are we going to plug it into? Sure, let's plug it into the first. So just make sure you're plugging it into x. So we have -8 is plus 2y is equal to 6. How do we solve for y here? Add 8. So 2y is equal to, what's 6 plus 8? 14. Now what do we do? Divide by 2. So y is equal to? 7. So again, on the quiz, you have to put this into the box as x is equal to -8 and y is equal to 7. Any questions on this one? All right, let's go to the next. So number 12, we need to sketch the solution to each system of inequalities. Looking at the first equation, what's our y-intercept? -2. So we put a point at y is -2. Next, we need our slope. What's our slope? 1/2. So our rise is 1 and our run is 2. So we go up 1 to the right 2. Do we connect these 2 points with a solid line or dotted line? Solid. What do we need to do now? These are inequalities, so we need to shade. How do we find where we're going to shade? Plug in 0, 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to -2. Is this true?
Yeah.
So where are we going to shade? Up top. So if we plug in 0, 0, oops, we plug in 0, 0. 0, 0 is this point right here. If this works, then we plug in where 0, 0 is. If this was not true, then we would shade over here, where 0, 0 is not. Right. So if it is true, we shade where 0, 0 is. So that's why we shade above. All right, now we can move on to the next one. What's our y-intercept? 1. So we put a dot at 1. what is our slope? Perfect. 2 over 1, so we can see our rise and our run. Our rise is 2, so we go up 2, to the right 1, put a dot there. Do we connect these two dots with a solid line or dotted line? A dotted line. What do we do next? Plug in 0, 0. That is not you guys yet. 10, 10? 11:05. Yeah, I think 11:05. Yep. So you guys have 15 minutes left. So 0 is greater than 1. Is this true? No. So if 0, 0 is this point here, where are we going to shade? To the right or to the left? To the left. We shade where 0, 0 is not. So we're going to shade on the left. Now what do we need to do? Erase. We erase everything that's not in common. So all we're erasing is the shaded parts. We don't erase our lines. So we just erase the shaded parts that are not in common. Any questions here? Ready for the next one? All right. So our first inequality, what is our y-intercept? -3. So we put a point at -3. What's our slope? -1 over 1. So if our rise is negative, are we going up or down? Down. So we go down 1 to the right 1. There's our second point. Do we have a solid line or dotted line? Solid. So we connect our 2 points with a solid line. What do we need to do next? Plug in 0, 0. So 0 is less than or equal to 0 minus 3, which would just be -3. So is this true? Is 0 less than or equal to -3? No. So where are we going to shade? Below. So we're shading down here. All right. Next, we have x is equal to, or x is less than -2. What is our y-intercept? Do we have one? So whenever we see x and just one number, we don't have any y's in it, we go where x is -2. So we go to this point and we put a line right down it. Should this be a solid line or a dotted line? Dotted. So we put a dotted line right through -2. What do we do next? Plug in 0, 0. So 0 is less than -2. Is this true? No? So where are we going to shade? To the left. What do we need to do next? Erase. So we erase everything that's not in common.